a California Reparations Task Force is making history with a major decision on who will receive compensation. The first of its kind task force was put together by Governor Gavin Newsom back in 2020. Now, after hours of testimony and debate, the group has voted 5-4 that reparations should be paid to descendants of black slaves who were living in the United States during the 19th century. Chairperson of the California Reparations Task Force, Camila Moore, joins me now with a little bit more on all of this. Camila, thank you for being here. I know that California is the only state in the U.S. to move ahead with a study and a plan for reparations like this. So how has this process been to try to figure this all out?
Hi, thank you for having me. We started the California Reparations Task Force meeting in June of last year. And since June, we've held a series of virtual public hearings on a variety of topics, but starting with the transatlantic slave trade, to the institution of slavery, to more contemporary harms against African Americans in California and the United States more broadly, around predatory lending practices, environmental racism, racism in banking, tax, and labor, amongst other issues as well. And so we've had an ongoing conversation about who should be eligible for reparations, and we finally resolved that question yesterday afternoon.
Now, what were some of the key issues that you faced during all these ongoing discussions and debates?
Right. And so the framing around the community of eligibility to the task force was around, should it be race-based, so all Black Californians, regardless of national or even immigrant origin, or should it be lineage-based, so where you can, trace your ancestry to an enslaved or free African-American person who was living in the United States prior to the 19th century. And so there were amazing arguments on both sides. But 5 task force members decided, along with myself, that a lineage-based approach would be most apt.
So, Camila, how significant do you think was, one, the creation of this task force and finally reaching this decision?
Well, I think, of course, it's history in the making, and it's a long time coming. The history of lineage-based reparations advocacy literally starts during enslavement with Belinda Sutton and Callie House, who were one of the first African-American women to advocate for reparations for ex-slaves, to Queen Mother Audley Moore in the 1960s and the Black Panther Party, who also fought for reparations in their platforms, to grassroots activists today who were responsible for the enactment of AB 3121, along with Secretary of State Shirley Weber, and of course, California Governor Gavin Newsom.
So why do you think these reparations, one, why are they necessary? And what will this compensation look like? Will these be cash payments or will it come in other forms?
So the task force still has to decide what forms of compensation would look like. And we've actually hired an economic consultant team that includes Dr. Sandy Darity, William Spriggs, and other economists to help the task force crunch the numbers, essentially, in terms of what compensation could look like. And to your point about why reparations is important, we know that slaves were promised 40 acres and a mule, and that was rescinded due to discrimination. And so, reparations is about accounting for that broken promise of reconstruction and repairing the transferred harms to the direct descendants of those enslaved people.
And I know this is a really complicated question, but as best as you can sum it up, how did you link those wrongs with how they're impacting people still today?
Well, that's a really good question, because in the statute itself, AB 3121, it mandates the task force to study and develop reparations proposals on the lingering negative effects of slavery against a particular group of people, and that being freed African slaves and their descendants. So there are many different lingering or badges and incidents of slavery, like homelessness, like mass incarceration, amongst many other factors that are still a badge and incident of slavery in 2022 that has to be eradicated in order for true equity to be achieved. And so that's the historic task that we have as a 9-member task force.
All right, Camila Moore, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.